As a matter of fact, qu'on regarde Revelation 14, where it talks about the three angels' message, vous connaissez qui ça le dit? The angel had the everlasting gospel first, saying, so il gain the everlasting gospel, the message of Jesus first, and then it preached the rest of the stuff. By the way, the thief on the cross, he kept the Sabbath right away, right? Oh, the thief on the cross didn't keep the Sabbath? And Jesus says, you're going to be with me. Because Jesus is the is the law of God. If you have him, everything else will fall in place. So don't forget that. And just make sure you tell people what Jesus has done for you. We are to acknowledge his grace as made known through the holy men of old, but that which will be more effectual. There it is, what I just said. You have to tell them all the stuff about what the man of God said, but that which will be most effectual or more effective is the testimony of your own experience. Ça qui est important, c'est pour montrer ça Jésus fait dans la vie. That's what people want to know. What you're going to tell me now, what is it going to do for me? But when they see it happening in your life, they can say, oh, I see. For as God, we are witnesses for God as we reveal in ourselves the working of a power that is divine. That's what makes people want to know Jesus a little bit more. Okay, we're running out of time. As a matter of fact, let me say this before we move on. People may argue against Adventism. They may argue against the Sabbath. They may argue against all our fundamental beliefs. And they will argue because they may know something different. That may be wrong, but they will argue with you. You know one thing they cannot argue with? What Jesus did in your life. They can't tell me Jesus took me out of New York City gang life, all this nonsense, and took me to church and then changed my life. I used to carry a knife. They used to call me assassin. They don't call me that anymore. And it's not because of what I did, but because of what Jesus did in my life. Every time I go back to my old friends, and they used to call me assassin, now they call me pastor. Because of me? No, because now I can say Jesus did that through me. And when you got this, I say, go power la. There's a power there. And that's what's important. D, all right, D, dedicate. That means devote time, effort, or oneself to a particular task or purpose. Young people, let me tell you, when you take on God's business, when you decide to work for God, you take care of God's business, God will take care of your business. Over and over, he will show you that whenever you decide to do God's work, God will do work for you. There's a psychological phenomenon called protege effect. How many of you have heard of that? That's kind of new to me too. Protege effect. It says when you teach information to others, it helps a person learn that information. It helps you internalize it yourself when you teach it. So young people, when you are sharing your faith, it reinforces it in your mind. It makes you understand it better. And that's why witnessing is so important. And teachers will tell you, if you want to know something, teach it. If you can teach it, eventually you will fully understand it. So that's our job, to let people know what God has done for you, for us. Young people, if you want to program your mind to have a a refuge in your mind and amidst all this nonsense, all the voices, all the YouTube stuff, all the social media, all the Instagram. I mean, it is loaded with information. If you want to protect your mind, meditate on God's word. Every day, invite God in your life. Tell people your story. When you go somewhere, before you say anything, and I know that's tough for kids, but let them know that you have God in your life and God has changed you. Tell them your story. And finally, dedicate yourself to God's word, to work, and to do it in the church, to do it outside the church. And you will program your mind for God. Last but not least, God says, what does Jesus say? I am the good shepherd. And listen to what it says. My sheep does what? My sheep does what? Listen to my voice. I know them, and they do what? They follow me. So may God bless us this evening. Prepare your heart, prepare your mind. It's going to get really, really messy, really terrible as we move on to 2023. Program your mind for Jesus, and it will be a lamp unto your feet and will be a light to your path. May God bless you this evening.
After hearing God's voice, let's go to Him and ask Him to help us to internalize what we hear. Let us sing together on nous chanter ensemble pour terminer le service du soir au numéro 280. Père, je viens à toi. Je t'implore avec toi. Tout est dit. Seigneur, exauce. Père, je viens à toi. Je t'implore avec foi. Seigneur, exauce-moi dans ton amour. Et les raisons sans ton aide, mon Dieu fort, sois mon seul réconfort. God, it's a pleasure to be at your feet, hearing your words. But it is more important to internalize it, understanding it, and help somebody else. Seigneur, nous réalisons que définitivement, nous aimons de amour éternel. Mais nous demandons, pas nous disposition pour nous tendre, pour nous get excited, pour nous dire Amen. Mais quand nous sortis, nous oublions. Mais plutôt, aidez-nous pour nous capables d'arriver à un degré de maturité spirituelle. De façon à ce que nous soyons capables pas vivre pour nous parler bien de nous, mais vivre pour nous témoigner que Jésus est bon pour nous. Tandis que Seigneur, à soi, ou parler avec cœur nous, ou aider nous comprendre l'importance de faire ta volonté, de te comprendre. Et maintenant, Seigneur, nous ne pouvons pas faire ça de par nous-mêmes. Mais nous demandons que le Dieu Saint-Esprit soit capable d'inspirer nous, aider nous et parler avec cœur nous. Bon papa, l'année a presque fini, oui. Aidez-nous pour nous quitter tout déboire année 2022. Toute hypocrisie, tout bluff, tout ça qui n'est pas nécessaire, tout ça qui a détruit nous. Aidez-nous pour nous capables de vivre en nouveauté de vie. De façon à ce que nous ayons une joie qui rentre en nous, une disposition pour nous servir et une compréhension que retour pas loin. Et nous pas loin pour nous vivre dans l'éternité bienheureuse. Fortifie notre âme, garde-nous, protège-nous et bénis-nous. Bénis ton serviteur qui nous a parlé, de continuer à l'aider à mieux nous instruire jour après jour. Et puis qu'après tout, Seigneur, ensemble, nous puissions former un faisceau pour aller à ta rencontre. Seigneur, nous allons séparer, mais nous te prions de nous aider à laisser ce lieu, non ta présence, mais plutôt ce lieu pour entrer chez nous, sachant que demain soir, nous retournerons ici pour jouir de ta présence, de ta bonté, de ta miséricorde. Pour cela, Seigneur, envoie-nous de ce lieu avec ta paix et ta grâce et l'onction de ton Saint-Esprit. En Jésus, nous te prions. Amen. Bonne nuit à tous et à demain soir, Dieu voulant. Que le Seigneur vous bénisse.